Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm late. That was kind of touch and go. I couldn't get my hotspot to connect. I'm very not good with technology. Not at all. I figured we were going to be about an hour late because I was going to have my husband do it for me. So let's see who's in here. Shannon Georgia Peach, Chris Melcher. There's our friend Aggie. Aggie just had a birthday, everybody. Let's tell her happy birthday. She was very sneaky. She just told me about it yesterday. She gets very embarrassed about things like this. Hello, just me, Mama Kay. Eve Gorley, hello. Hello, hello. If I missed anybody, I apologize. There's our friend Lone Wolf, Michelle, Melissa, Juicy Tequila Bobo, be a shiner, not a whiner. There's my friend Uli. Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday morning. Unheard, not forgotten. What you been doing, girl? Hello, Sonia. Hello, Lisa. We had 2 shows yesterday. If you missed it, go catch up. There's going to be more about Lily Peters that was found murdered in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. It seems extremely random. I mean, even Jennifer Coffendaffer said, I say even, she's just going off of what the news is saying. This is a stranger that did this. I don't mean like boogeyman stranger. We'll get into that later in the show that we do about it. But it could be someone that she knows. It's just extremely random. They've even told the public that there's a danger in the public. There's something wrong, something going on there. Very sad, very sad. Magoo, good morning. Misty, good morning. Let's see. Katrina, hello. Mima Dragon, hello. Angie, hello. I saw over the weekend Angie became a member. Thank you, Angie. Laverne, hello. Hey, there's my friend Savage. I saw Savage caught the replay of the shows yesterday. Preschool Granny, hello. Of course, Preschool Granny is from Wisconsin, and we actually had a local on one of the shows last night. It was really interesting show. Hello, Cherry Blossom. So what we're going to talk about today is Summer Wells and how are we over 10 months in this and we're still asking the exact same questions. Hello, Bob. I'm actually going to put the link up. I can't bring everybody up at once, but I want an open panel. Tasha, who's backstage, sent an email yesterday I've been going through, and she's breaking down a lot of crazy questions I never even thought about. Hang on, Unheard. There you go. Because Candace has been in church too long. Yeah, I got some great news about Candace. Somebody sent me a screenshot out of a group. Basically said, no, Candace did pay her electric bill, and she was too sick to go to a concert. And I'm like, well, it's solved, huh? Who really cares if she's got lights on or not? I don't care if her toilet flushes. It has nothing to do. Help me. Hello, Bonnie. Hello, Dr. Clark. But you're right, Candace, when she took the reins, the train was already off the tracks, but now it's just beyond crazy. So before I start bringing people up, talking about the different questions, and everybody, like I said, open chat, open forum, feel free to grab the link. I'll put it up again in case the chat's moving too fast. Next week, I'll be home and move back to our normal shows, if you know what I mean. Then we'll go over comments from the previous shows and stuff like that. Oh, Outlaw Trucker says he's on his tablet. Well, all right. Okay, so I'm going to put up something from WJHL from yesterday. I'm not saying it's related to summer, but it needs to be looked at.
Eight men have been arrested after a 2-day undercover operation by special agents with the TBI Human Trafficking Unit and several other agencies. That includes 2 men out of Knoxville and 1 man out of Lebanon, Virginia. That's Tyler Ryan Arrington, who you should see right there, all charged with 1 count of solicitation of a minor. An operation aimed to address human trafficking in East Tennessee by placing several decoy advertisements on websites for prostitution or commercial sex cases, then focused on those trying to engage with minors. More information on the TBI's efforts to stop human trafficking can be found at their website, ithastostop.com.
Ithastostop.com. I agree. I'm sorry it's echoing. Do I need to play it again and I'll mute my mic? Here, I'll play it again. Hang on. Let me mute me. And I also put up Just Me's comment where she said, I've missed you guys. I've missed you guys too. Tried to jump in as much as possible. Thank you, Pink Phoenix.
Eight men have been arrested after a two-day undercover operation by special agents with the TBI Human Trafficking Unit and several other agencies. That includes 2 men out of Knoxville and 1 man out of Lebanon, Virginia. That's Tyler Ryan Arrington, who you see right there, all charged with 1 count of solicitation of a minor. That operation aimed to address human trafficking in East Tennessee by placing several decoy advertisements on websites for prostitution or commercial sex cases, then focused on those trying to engage with minors. More information on the TBI's efforts to stop human trafficking can be found at their website, ithastostop.com.
Okay, hopefully that was better. Sometimes I forget to mute my mic, and so we will get an echo. Plus, we're driving down the road right now. My soul's captain, you've been missed too. I've been trying to jump in as much as possible. Sam, I am. The sad fact of the matter is there's these trafficking rings being busted all over the place. It seems to be a very high priority for the authorities right now because there is so much talk about it. And this was quick. These guys were using decoys on different websites because, well, they're obviously idiots and don't realize people look at that stuff. Either way, it's sick. Not saying it's related to Summer, but it's definitely a conversation that has to be had. Wolfcat said Summer's case is being swept under the rug. I think it's become extremely convoluted with things that don't matter, but that's okay. Everything's worth a discussion, right? We're just here to talk about this, keep it in the forefront. I believe they're still working on it. They wanted it over, June 16th. I don't think they want this to drag on. Which goes into the show today. We still have all of these questions, and they're basically the same questions we've been asking since June. So I'm going to bring Sasha up because she sent me an email. Like I said, I read it 4 or 5 times. So get ready. Get your pen and paper because it's a lot. Hi, Emma. Hi, Sasha. How you doing, my friend?
Hi, Brooke. I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm going to try to figure out how to plug a speaker into this later so I can hear better. So missed you, my friend. Sorry, I've been kind of touch and go in and out the last couple weeks. It'll be back to normal next week. I know it's like the family's back together. It's a family reunion, but nobody's fighting over the potato salad. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So let's go through your email. I'm actually going to pull it up on my phone.
Okay, and I have it here in front of me as well.
So you have a lot of questions about Jose.
Yes.
All right. So let's start with this. Number 1, you said to me, what was Candace/Summer doing right after dropping Grandis off at the hospital from 8 to 10:30? Hello, Big T. I've been wondering that myself. Now, let's face it, there's a lot of gaps in the entire day, right?
True.
8 to 10:30. And I don't know about you, Sasha, and again, this is just my opinion. I don't believe for a minute that Hunter just happened to call her that day. I believe Hunter was part of the plan and she got a hold of him. So let's get into this. Now, what did you say? You said listen to Chris's interview. I'm going to let you finish.
Okay, but I'm gonna just say this real quick.
No,
Now,
you go ahead, girlfriend.
okay, I believe something happened before the 15th. So
Okay.
this is what I'm kind of going off of, something happening like the 14th, 13th, or somewhere up in that time frame. So when I think about after Candace dropped Grandis off at the hospital, where did she go from 8 to 10:30 before picking up Hunter? So when I listened to Chris interview with Jose around the 41:23 mark, Jose is explaining how they met up at the dollar store. And I understand this is a different time frame he supposedly is giving. But to me, it sounds like he's talking about the 15th to a certain extent, because I think Jose is mixing up details from other times with the 15th, like they all are doing. And when Jose explains the meetup at the dollar store around the time around that 41:23 mark with the interview with Chris, Jose says that Allie, Candace, Hunter, Summer, and Allie's daughter was all at the dollar store, and they were there from 2 to 3 hours.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right. He did say that.
So if you look at the time from 8 to 10:30, I don't believe that Candace would just be sitting in the at the hospital parking lot waiting on her mother to be done with the appointment, because that whole day already started out kind of off anyways, like like things already started off.
Mhm.
So that made me think, and again, as I said, I think Jose is mixing up details just like the rest of them. Did they meet up at that at that dollar store around that time from 8 to 10:30? Because that's that 2 hour mark. And remember, Hunter and Candace can't get their story right on who called who. You know what I mean? Or who
Oh,
texted
they
who.
have it straight. He's saying she called me, but she does not want Dawn to know that she called Hunter. So she's saying, "Oh no, he called me," as if that's not easy for the authorities to figure out. We're
Well,
not
that's
blaming Jose. We're just having a conversation about strange coincidences. Like for one, the damn dollar store keeps coming up.
yes. Yes, and I'm definitely not blaming Jose, but I don't think Jose is innocent. I'm sorry to say, but I don't think Jose is innocent. Jose, to me, has guilty knowledge of something that happened, or could possibly been there when something happened. But I don't believe any of them in regards to not knowing what happened to Summer.
Mhm.
Like they all, if you got a story to tell, your story will never change. Not only will your story never change, you can tell that story 100,000 times to anyone who questions or talk. Your story shouldn't change at all. You know
Well, the truth can't change because it's the truth. But
exactly.
we've had ever evolving stories, and I call them stories because they're made up. They are
Is
made up. And we
is
have
that
had ever evolving stories in this since they started talking back in June. I mean, even from when Don talked to Rogersville Review on June 18th, we have had a Ferris wheel of stories. A story is a Hollywood script. I mean, Candace even used the word, "I'm not comfortable with the script." Well, what is a script? It's a story you sell.
Yep. And I definitely agree with you. And I mean, and even Jose had periods of time. Oh, I don't recall the time, the dates, the time frame. He's going off of a bank statement of one period of time. To me, none of that makes sense. He can remember other details in regards to things. I feel that they're all are just BSing with their timelines and telling stories. Because to me, I don't understand, how can you forget this, but also, but remember these little details that don't matter, you know, and and that's what I took from the conversation. That's one of the things I took from the conversation that Jose had with Chris in regards to that. Now, that's not the only thing
No,
that I
it leads back to the title of the show. We have more questions than answers. And even if
exactly
someone says, oh no, they weren't anywhere around there that day, we still kind of pause and go, but can we talk about it? Because something is not right here. And I
exactly
want
and
to address this comment by High Priestess. Every single person involved is lying about something. I
exactly
truly feel this was planned. My apologies if that's too harsh. No way, girlfriend, you're not too harsh. You can't be too harsh for us. It was covered up too well, in my opinion. And to think that Dawn and Candace, or whoever's involved, Candace is in there somewhere. There's just no way getting around it.
I
Have
agree.
have done this dog and pony show over 10 months is insane. So let's get to another part of your email. If I skipped something, slap me.
Okay.
You said
Oh,
go back to Dudley's interview. Let's talk about that.
all right. Now, with Dudley's interview, I'm not saying I believe everything that Dudley says, but I believe that Dudley was trying to ruffle up um, Dunn's feather in regards to saying some things that may have taken place, with Summer, with something happening to Summer. Now, one thing is when Dudley says the time frame. The time frame that Dudley gives to me makes sense. And the only reason why I'm gonna say that it makes sense is because of Dudley says the way Dunn came into work on that Monday, like he had lost his prized
That's
possession.
that's the 14th when he was sitting there and he saw the picture and his whole face changed expression. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and to me that makes sense because like that comment you just read, I believe they had time to plan this. I don't believe something happened and then all of a sudden they just figured out this master plan. But when Dudley said that, that made me wonder, did something happen that Monday or not that Monday or a couple days before, that Sunday, that Saturday, within that weekend.
Right.
And um, I felt that it makes sense. And then when Dudley also mentioned about Grandis had an accident at the dollar store.
Yeah,
Dollar
if
store
it's
is,
the
I'm
fender
sorry.
bender at the dollar, how much shit can go down at the dollar store? I
Exactly.
need to be looking more at the dollar store than the damn horse pond. Dawn had lunch at the dollar store. We had a fender bender at the dollar store. We met at the dollar store. I mean, my gosh,
Yes, everything goes down at the dollar store.
a lot
But
going on at the dollar store.
right. So when he mentioned the dollar store, he said Grandis had an accident at the dollar store and she had to go to the emergency room. Now, Grandis also had to go to the emergency room on the day of the 15th, first thing in the morning. And he said that, she wanted to get a prescription. And also that that he's I guess they were on the FaceTime or something similar to that. And he saw someone ask someone if she was okay. Now when you think about what he's saying, the boys are never around. Like where was the boys at during this fender bender that day?
They
So
always leave the boys out of the story. They always
exactly.
leave the boys out of the story. We don't know. Like the day of the 15th, Candace says that the oldest was at work with Dawn. Then she's on Outlaw Truckers channel saying she doesn't even know where Dawn was that day. She said that day.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Wow. And see that's the thing. That brings me back to the 15th. Is Dudley actually trying to give details from the 15th, but of course not giving the straight not giving us straight details, but giving us, you know, a little details here and there of what could have happened on the 15th. Because I think I saw some on someone's channel in regards to that Grandis had that tailgate switched out, changed, and when she went to Wisconsin, and to me, and to me that made me wonder, that an accident happened in Grandis truck to a point where maybe someone was backing up or leaving, well,
Mhm.
and accidentally hit someone, or or something, to a point, not with blood and guts and all that, just, what I mean, just enough to cause some type of, could cause internal damage.
It's just too many strange things going on all around one family. We already have two people that have disappeared without a trace within one family.
I
That's like
agree.
winning the lottery. Well, just one time is a big deal. Court K, I want to address this. She said if Summer wasn't in the car at Walgreens, TBI definitely knows that. So if they can prove she's lying, they could arrest her for the false info or something, right? Yeah. They definitely know she's not telling the truth, or else this would have been done. They would have been this would have been done and over a long time ago. They would be investigating this as an abduction. They would go with her story. I go back to Megan Boswell, a county or so over, Sullivan County. They arrested Megan within, I mean, I'd say a few days, a week, because her story kept changing. They put her in jail for lying to the police. Now, I mean, obviously the jails would be jam-packed like sardines if we all went to jail for not quite telling the truth to the police. So I've always wondered, if you want to hang Candace up, you could at least get her on that. Don't even get me going on the child neglect and endangerment. I don't
Yes.
know. I don't know why. I go back to Jennifer Coffendaffer when she was on the show. She said, I think what you have is a DA it's very cautious and not very aggressive.
I totally agree with you on that. And another thing with with Dudley, um, he said this accident happened in June, around the same month Summer went missing. So that made me think again, like, you know, did this accident actually happen, but not at the dollar store?
Hmm.
You know, I feel like something happened on the property, because I don't think for 1 minute any of them will tell will give us the place of where the accident took place at, like the swim hole. I don't believe anything happened there, because to me they're trying to keep focus off the property for some reason.
They don't want anyone on the property. She was upset that the police were even there that night searching for Summer. If you go to the TBI's frequently asked questions, and they say we've searched the property many times. They even give examples of all the different things they've searched on the property. She was inside trying on hats and having some kind of half-ass FaceTime with Allie.
Yeah, like I
Then they start putting up no trespassing signs everywhere, which, I mean, I get. You don't want a bunch of strangers on your property, but I think that was more they were given a sign that they don't want the police up there.
I agree. I agree with you on that. And that's the other thing. I feel
Mhm.
like, they don't want anybody searching their property, and that's what I said too, for them taking the focus off of their property and putting it at the swim hole. Does anyone even know if that video was actually from the 15th of
Now,
at the
I've
swim
heard
hole?
that it's been verified. I believe it was, if I'm wrong, guys, correct me. Ansley Daniel spoke with authorities, and they said the last known video of Summer is from the swim hole. They don't say the date up, but they have never changed the date. They have never said missing since question mark. It's always been June 15th.
Okay, because I'm still hesitant about that video.
Yeah, and we're here just to discuss different things. I mean, we don't have the case file. We don't know what they know. All right. So
That's
one
true.
thing you brought up to me, I thought was really interesting. Is, oh, we got some noise here. Hang on.
Okay.
What is that noise?
It's me. I'm giving my daughter something. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I thought it was around here. No, you're fine. Okay, so you're talking about the seating arrangements and the way that Jose explained them.
Oh yes, that was one of the biggest things that caught my attention with that interview with Chris. So at at that mark I told you, when you go back to that interview and you listen to Jose, when Jose was talking about after they left the dollar store, who all was in the vehicle and Grandis truck, Jose said it was him. This is who was all in the back seat. Him. If you think about the video of where of Summer in the back seat where Ken is asking if her arm is still up. Now listen to the seat. Now listen to this. Where the boxes is, Jose is saying he was sitting right there. Even though this is a different time frame he's trying to give, but he was sitting next to the box. Well, not next to the box, I'm sorry. Right where the boxes are. Next to him was Hunter. And this is Jose's word. Summer was leaned up against Hunter. And next to Summer was Allie's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one thing when he said leaned up, that Summer was leaned up against Hunter, think about the 15th. Think about the 15th of the time frame that they gave. Almost like Summer, him explaining like Summer was the way she was propped up on that milk, like she was propped up on Hunter. If you think about, and this was his exact words, that she was leaned up against Hunter, and Hunter was on his phone. Now in the front, he said it was Candace, she was driving, Grandis, and Allie. Now that took me to the 15th immediately because remember Chris was also trying to figure out who all was in the car.
And it really got me when he was sitting there with Hunter on the porch. I call it live from the porch. They'd already had their Dominoes and they were working on Mountain Dew. And he asked him about the milk. He was trying to figure out the seating arrangement, how the milk got there. And Hunter acted like he didn't know what was going on. You know, he'd already been asked.
Yeah.
He was very nervous and he was like popping that thing,
Yeah.
And it was like the milk. And Chris was just looking at him. He wouldn't take his eyes off of him. And it was kind of like, here's your friendly reminder. You know what milk I'm talking about, kind of, attitude. And he told him, he was like, you're going to be asked about that quite a bit. So now, not to change gears, when WJHL said the last known video is from the swim hole, is the milk even important? Was it even taken that day? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, or unless they're saying known, as in they still don't know exactly when that video was taken. I don't know. It confuses me. That's why we're doing this show. We have more questions than answers. We put our heads together.
Yeah, that milk video is definitely confusing, but at the same time, when you hear Jose give that the seating arrangement, and you pay attention to Chris is really on that seating arrangement for some reason. I mean, Chris is the expert, of course, but he's on that seating arrangement for some reason.
Yeah.
And you can see it all in his face, and you think about it's the same people other than Hunter's sister Allie and Grandis that still in that same day, still the same characters in that same day of the 15th. And to me, I think Hunter could not answer that question because his mother was in that truck with them. His mother was in that truck with them, and I believe that Jose was in that truck with him. And Jose, to me, already gave the seating arrangement right where Summer was in that video of Candace asking about if Summer's arm's still up.
Right.
Jose said during his time frame that he's talking about, Allie's daughter would have been sitting right there where that soda and that candy, that the Skittles are at. So to me, it sounded so much like the 15th. Like, where are the boys at? at this time? You mean to tell me this is another time that the boys is not with you guys? Like, does she ever take the boys anywhere with her, or the boys anywhere with them?
Well, I mean, she had them with her when they went to, I guess it was Gatlinburg for their little vacation. But everything else, it seems like the boys are nowhere around.
Exactly. Exactly. And Chris asked, "Where was the boys?" And he said the boys was at home that day. So again, that brought me back to the 15th. Like, this just doesn't, you know what I mean, with the seating arrangements, well, all of that.
Mhm.
It just sounds too much like the 15th. Like, trying to put the pieces together. And like I said, that seating arrangement just made sense to me in regards to who all was in that truck and why they can't get their details together, because then they will have to tell on each other. You
Well, and
know,
also maybe the boys had to stay behind all the time because, I mean, how many people can you fit into the cab of that damn truck?
exactly.
It's
That's
not like
that's
they're
true too.
driving. I mean, they needed a minivan, is what they needed. You know, you've got 4 kids: Grandis, Dawn, Candace, and whatever random stranger she picked up from the mini mart.
That's true. That's very true. That's
Should have
very.
taken Grandis' school bus everywhere.
You
So, I
would
mean, I
think.
get the seating arrangement because you're trying to figure out how the hell did you get everybody in there?
Exactly. Exactly. And that's that's the thing. Like, to me, it just makes me think of the 15th. What Allie can't think if she went to the car or the truck. I mean, not the car, I'm sorry. She couldn't think if she went to the truck or not. To what she when she said, I can't remember, but you can help me if you can help me out here. I can't remember. She said she went to the truck and she saw Summer the same way that she was in that milk jug video.
I've
When
heard two different versions. I've heard that she was basically asleep, windows rolled up. She wanted to give her a hug. Candace said no. Then later it was said that she never left the porch. She was up there the whole time. See, again, we have ever changing stories. And it's very odd when you're not involved with this at all, right, Allie? And you would have to change your story. Why
exactly,
would you? Did you
exactly
go to
that.
the truck or not? And now, some people in cases like this, it's not that they're trying to cover up any type of guilt, but they want to give the right answers and they want to be relevant so bad they'll say anything. And so then they say later, well, no, actually, I never left the porch, because that's not real juicy, if you know what I mean. But to say, yeah, I walked up there, Candace wouldn't let me hug her, and the windows are up. That's all I can think of. By the
Yeah,
way, thank you, Amy.
that's the same thing. I thought I heard two different versions, but I couldn't remember. But yeah, that's the same thing I was thinking of. And that to me is, I feel, just my opinion, is because she was with them during this time, during this on the 15th. I believe they all were saying their goodbye to Summer.
Ugh.
Can you hear me?
And I also would want to know what people's freedom means to them. That, I mean, every one of them hate Candace. We've heard Grand Bun, Sherry, Allie. I mean, Hunter acts like he could care less about her. Um, would you really risk everything to cover for Candace?
True.
What kind of intimidation does she have over people?
True. You know what? I don't think that they, and this again, my opinion. I don't. I feel like they were not at war with one another until this case blew up and everybody's story started to change from here to there, and nobody was sticking to the script. And I feel like that's when the falling out began. I feel like Allie switched up on Candace with the story, because I feel like H probably threw that in about him saving Summer from out of the water. And I don't think Candace like that. The script changed. They changed the script because if you remember, um, Allie was texting somebody as during that interview. Like, she was like so
I've
like
always wondered
frustrated.
who so important for her to sit there. and text back and forth with, and I've always wondered if it's not Candace. I've always wondered when that red Subaru went down the street during the interview
Yes.
if it wasn't Candace.
You saw that red Subaru too?
Yeah, I kept thinking, is that Candace driving by, scoping out the situation to see who they're talking to? I've always thought that was really odd. I've always thought that was extremely odd. We have no verification it is, so don't take my word. Like I said, I'm just wondering. And I agree with you 100%. I have never believed that this falling out between all of them trying to make the woman sandwich out of Jose was that bad, if you know what I mean. Because all of this goes down in October. Allie calls the cops to go get her own children back from Candace. But then you see pictures, I believe it was in March. That's Sherry with Candace and the kids at Chili's. She calls Hunter, and it's perfectly fine for Hunter to go with them for the day. They all have an excuse. It's either, because our kids like the dogs so much, or, well, I don't want to punish Summer by Hunter not being able to see her. Things like that don't occur to someone if you're that mad at someone.
Exactly.
But it seems to really fall apart when people with badges started knocking on their door, asking questions.
I totally agree with you. That's what I felt from the moment that this story blew up. And like you just said, when Ellie started knocking on their door is when things just started going left for them.
All right, this is a comment I have to address because I feel the exact same way. When a mother does not go looking for her child and says her child was abducted in 2 minutes, that tells me the mother is guilty. Time does not lie. Like right now, it says it's 9:39 a.m. I can't turn around and tell you guys that it's actually 10 o'clock. It's 9:39. So when she says she'd been looking that whole time, but then says 10 minutes, then says 2 minutes, and it's not. By now they know she wasn't looking for her.
Nope. She didn't even go out and look for her one bit, right? She was just calling everybody, and that's another thing. Why did she call Hunter?
Why did she call Hunter? Wouldn't you want to be on the phone with your husband?
Exactly.
Stay on the phone with me while I'm looking for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why Hunter? I think she reached out. Well, supposedly she was trying to get a hold of Allie. Okay, so there's my next question. Why Allie?
Exactly.
What are they going to do to help you? I think she's given them a heads up. Something went down.
Exactly.
If they didn't already have some idea that something was wrong. And I know people go back to the CPS thing and they're like, well, Summer was in the way and CPS was coming. These are people that don't really care about authority so much.
I totally agree with your book. Like, I think she was giving her heads up, calling Hunter. Hunter called his mother. And if you know, they all had alibis for that evening. Like, Allie said she was at the ballpark, Hunter with his girlfriend, entire family. And to me, not to say that you can't go out and do stuff but I just feel like they had alibis for a reason.
Let me ask you this. Do you find it odd, and I'm kind of going down, I didn't mean to sit here and talk about Allie, but just too many things are popping in my head. But hey, that's the show. We have more questions than answers. I found it odd that when Chris McDonough was asking her, actually trying to ask Hunter, and she kept, sticking her nose in it, he would even tell her, no, I'm asking him. Did anyone find it? I always find it odd when someone answers a question no one asked. You know what I mean?
Yes. Like how Leslie threw in that about the Walmart story.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was trying to get some information out of Leslie. And Leslie, you can tell Leslie does hate Candace. But when Allie, for no particular reason, is making sure Chris knows that she was with Leslie, they were at the ball field, her phone was dead, I was very puzzled. I'm like, nobody asked you.
Exactly. Guilty knowledge of something.
Why do you need to let us know where we were?
Is that and remember how Hunter reacted during that interview when he said when you picked up or something like that, like he was trying to contact her and she wasn't picking up.
See, now I
And
thought that was odd too because she had made sure to tell Chris her phone was dead. Did he call Leslie or was her phone charging in the car?
I'm not sure of that, but I think you know what, I did hear her say on one interview, I think with another channel, in regards to her phone was dead,
She
and she
did.
was
She said
charging
that
it.
to
She was
Chris. She said to Chris the phone was dead. But I never caught, did she put, was it on the charger in Leslie's car? Because he looked right at her and I thought, boom, you didn't want that to come out, did you, Allie? Because it was almost like she was caught in a lie
yeah.
when, and he looked over at her and said, when you finally picked up. Okay, Jessica said it was charging. All right, Jessica said it was charging. So she
Okay.
must have gone back to the car to, maybe they were leaving and she realized that she had missed a call. That would make more sense.
And when you said the part of when she picked up, to me, that's a trigger for him. Something is triggering him right there, because look at his face, his whole body, when he talks about just that moment. I suffer from PTSD, and I have triggers, and believe me, that's how I react when I have triggers to certain things. Like something triggered him. Can you hear me? Okay, I don't know. Sounds like you're breaking up on my end.
If I'm breaking up, sorry. Can everybody hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that. What was I saying? Crud. Oh no, I was just saying, Hunter, I think his life obviously has been turned upside down. I guarantee he wishes he hadn't taken that call on the 15th. I don't think anybody wants to be questioned by the police. I don't mean question as in he's a suspect, but just to be asked about your day, that's got to be intimidating. Lots of people, want to talk to you. I'm sure it's an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But also, did you catch when Hunter told Chris that he was up the night before Candace picked the before Candace picked him up that morning, which was the 14th? He said he was up all night, and I, for some reason, that stood out to me. And I just happened to be on one of Jody Sue's live, and I asked her in the comments. I said, "Could Summer have gone missing before the 15th?" And she said no, because Andy saw her on
Yeah, she said Andy saw her, but then something else was said by Jody Sue, and I can't remember exactly what it was. But she does say that Andy saw Summer, because I've always wondered if Summer actually made it to the house. And I didn't really think too much about Hunter saying that he was up all night the night before, because it's summertime and like a lot of kids, they'll stay up, late at night. They don't have to get up for school the next day.
Right, and I totally agree with you on that. But my thought was they all hanging out at the Wells that night, and that's why it was so easy for Hunter to be involved on the 15th.
Okay, Clark says the tree guys saw her too. Wow, I did not know that the tree trimmers confirmed seeing Summer.
Yeah, I heard something like that, but they saw her laying down in the truck on the way to take Grandis to the ER.
Yeah, I wondered how they saw her. I never had heard that though, so I apologize. My mouth gets me into trouble, so does mine. How did Andy see Summer if he was at work with Dawn? Andy works at a different place, and Andy let me try to think. He might have been talking to Benny, and he said that he was at work. He didn't say that he saw Summer, so I don't know why Jody turned around and said he did.
Well, Jody Sue told me when I asked her that question that Andy saw Summer the night of the 14th, the day before she went missing, the night before she went missing.
Oh, the
And
14th, not the 15th. Man, I'm screwing everything up today.
and then she said she saw Summer 2 nights before that. So that makes me think, were they all like, is this where they go maybe to hang out during the night? You know?
And then I agree with this with Lisa. Yeah, I have no idea. Lisa says H is a witness to what happened before Summer disappeared. He has to be nervous. Poor kid. I wouldn't wish this on any kid, teen or not. No, I wouldn't either. And I also get really tired of people saying, don't talk about Hunter. Don't talk about Hunter. Hunter is extremely relevant in this case. No one is blaming Hunter, at least on here. Nobody is saying they think he's involved in a cover-up or anything, but we know that he was a witness to that day.
Exactly. Exactly. I definitely agree with you on that. And but my thing is also too, who is Allie trying to protect? Who is
I
Allie?
believe she's actually trying to protect Hunter, but I don't think she realizes by changing stories, which could be out of complete nervousness.
Well, and I agree.
Nervousness doesn't help the situation.
I agree with you. You know what? I should have said, what is she trying to protect him from? Because I feel like there's something more to that. I don't know, of course, what it is, but I just feel like it's something more to that. Because I know for me, I'm not going to no jail for no one. As far as, my kids, my kids, but I'm not, if Hunter had nothing to do with it, or I know nothing, I'm going to tell you what I know, and that's it.
Well,
You know what I mean?
considering all the cases I followed, my advice to anybody would be only talk to the authorities and to hell with the rest of them.
Exactly. I totally agree with you on that.
Yep. Well, I got a couple more people backstage. You gonna hang around? I want to hear some more questions.
Sure.
By the way, thanks for the email. It really got my gears turning.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Lone Wolf, what questions have you been pondering, my friend?
Actually, I like a lot of Sasha's questions and everything.
Yeah.
She's pretty well on point on a lot of things, and I agree with her on some things, especially as far as with Jose. Because between the Chris McDonough interview and Justin's interview, Jose changed his stories quite a bit.
Okay.
The one story was the incident as far as with Summer in the shower. One of the recent interviews with Justin, Justin clarified as far as with Jose that all the kids were in the shower when he called Summer out of the shower, which throws up even more questions as far as why would you only call Summer out of the shower and not the boys? Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
but have we heard that the boys took showers with him? Because we just keep hearing about Summer, and it still turns my
No.
stomach. Now, let me tell you, I bathed my children. My kids were in the bathtub with me. But when you hear, not till they were 5 years old, but when you hear it happened at their house, it really sicks you out.
It does. It really does. And another thing too, I don't, for not one moment do I believe that Jose had the guts to overpower Dunn in regards to Summer being in the shower. I having a hard time believing that.
Mhm.
Well, I don't think he overpowered them, but I do believe as far as that Summer and her brothers were in the shower with Don, and the reason why Don blew up was the fact that Jose only called Summer out of the shower.
Now, I didn't hear him say he called Summer out of the shower. I heard something about he went and got a towel. He described the towel, and he grabbed her. And but I'm trying to figure out, you know, what was Dawn's reaction to this?
Well, Don was furious.
Okay.
I mean, if I was in the shower, making sure as far as all my kids were in the shower and they were being bathed properly, and a guest comes in and gets my daughter out of the shower, why? Why aren't you getting the boys out of the shower too? Why is it just Summer?
Well, if a guest of mine came in my bathroom while I was taking a shower, I'd be pissed, personally.
Exactly.
So I never have understood that at all. I've just, I mean, everything in this is so inappropriate anyway. One thing that I know that we have learned from this case is you can't believe everything you hear. Now, there's a lot of other cases where when someone comes forward, it pans out and it's like, oh, that makes sense. Not this one. I don't care. Unless it's Jesus himself that gives an interview, everything is up for, I don't know. Because in all honesty, that whole thing with Jose, I'm just saying, it could have never happened. He could have heard what Jody Sue said and picked up on that. We don't know.
And that's the thing, Brooke. I feel like they all have lies and a little bit of truth in their stories.
That's what I've been saying. I don't discount anything. I'm never like, oh, I just don't believe anything they say, blah, blah, blah. Because somewhere, I mean, a broken clock is right twice a day. Even the most pathological liar can't keep up with it. So if you listen to everything in there, the truth is in there somewhere. Hence why we're still sitting here after 10 months discussing the disappearance of Summer Wells. If it was as simple as an accident or her wandering off, we wouldn't have all these crazy stories and characters.
Exactly.
And they would have all been cleared by now. They could have easily cleared them up between their cell phones, their TVs, their tablets, their laptop. I mean, all of that stuff. They could have easily been like, look, this had to have been an accident, or she wandered off and she just, Lone Wolf, some people in here are thinking you're Andrew.
Like I said, I can't see the chat.
His name, and Andrew's never been on panel. He's been in chat a couple of times, but no, that's not Andrew.
Now, even if I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, even if it was an accident, okay, with CPS coming, all right, even an accident, knowing that something was happening to your daughter, okay, would get covered up, because even trying to use the if say an accident did happen at the swim hole, okay, but because CPS was coming there for Summer, okay, to do a complete body check, then you're going to automatically cover up the accident.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
basically,
I guess.
ba-
I
basic,
guess to me it doesn't make
basically
any
either.
sense at all. I mean, your child has an accident. I mean, you took Grandis to the hospital. Candace was complaining about having a hurt hip, and she got doctor's attention. If if Summer just simply had an accident, why don't you get her medical attention unless something else is going on?
Yeah.
I,
Well, even if Summer had the accident at the horse pond, okay, with H and everything, the accident happened there. Well, you went back to pick up Grandis at the hospital. You could
Mhm.
have taken Summer straight in for medical treatment.
I
No,
totally agree with you on that.
nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense.
Okay, so Grandis can use the excuse, "Oh, I fell asleep." Okay, but you can't excuse the fact that she knew that Summer wasn't feeling good when they came to pick you up at the hospital. Okay, Summer's in both Candace's and Grandis's care, which means they're both responsible. I see Grandis doing the same thing as her daughter Rose.
Yeah,
And
I
you,
think the whole thing is so messed up. Even if you're taking, notes every single day, you can't quite keep up with everything that's going on. And the truth is, the only facts that we have are what the TBI told us in the very beginning, and like what little bit of coverage, and I mean just a little bit, considering there's a missing child in Tennessee. I mean, in that area, that WJHL, and it's very, I'm trying to find the word, just kind of skimming the top, if you know what I mean.
yep. And I agree with you on that, Brooke. And another thing I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about when Jose said Summer would get out of the house?
I believed him because that makes sense.
It does, right?
I never believed when Don and Candace said, for one, any parent that says my child would never, they're going to be made into a liar real quick. So every time I hear that, I'm like, oh, okay. But they were adamant. They were never, ever, ever going to admit that maybe she would get curious and wander off the property. I've never understood why they were so adamant about that. We'll find out someday, I'm sure. Um, that would be
And
the easiest explanation. I think when I did the show June 16th, that was kind of my assumption. She's probably out there somewhere. She just wandered off. But they have been adamant she would never go past that swing. She would never. And I was like, that makes no sense. She's a child. Kids are curious. And when Jose was explaining in detail about how several times they had to go look for Summer, I was like, well, yeah.
it,
Was anybody surprised by that?
nope. And then on top of that, they always put the responsibilities on the boys, seems like, to watch Summer. And when you listen to Chris ask Jose at one point about when Jose's talking about how hard it is to get up that driveway. And Chris asks, well, when you guys got up the driveway, where did you guys, how far did you park from the I guess the porch area? And I thought about that. you know Jose said to get up the driveway, Candace had to put it in four, I forgot what it's called now, four-wheel drive, four drive. You know what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
That she had to put it up there, and then she floored it up. Now, could this have happened on another day as well, in regards to someone else may have been driving the truck, Grandis's truck, and parked close by the porch, and Summer just happened to get out, and no one knew she was out, and she may have ran towards the truck or something. You know what I mean?
Now it's funny I mean, a lot of people have brought this up. This has been a theory of a lot of people's. And in Tulsa a couple weeks ago, a mom and dad, their kids had gone to the grocery store. They parked the car in the driveway. They were taking turns unloading the groceries. The 2-year-old goes in the house with mom. They think 2-year-old's in the house. 2-year-old ran back outside as dad was pulling the truck into the garage and ran the baby over.
Oh my God.
Now, they called 911 right away, as 99.99999% of us would do. So again, if there's an accident, why don't you get medical attention? You see what I'm saying?
Yep, I totally agree with you. But I feel like maybe drugs and alcohol played a factor in something that, that pertained to an accident happening. And because they were so, if it was, illegal drugs, alcohol, too afraid to call because they know they were going to go to jail.
Mm-hmm. And then like this whole thing, if she just wandered off in the woods, I mean, it's been over 10 months. Why are they still saying everyone is still a suspect?
Exactly. And if
she wandered off, she's out there somewhere. Even if Candace was passed out drunk, I mean, what's she gonna get? Neglect? But they still say no. She was abducted 2 minutes. She went down to play. She walked out the basement door, which is odd. Did you see her walk out the basement door?
Exactly. And then on top of that, none of the dogs were there.
Yeah, see that again.
Actually, the dogs were there.
Oh, they were?
They had to have been. They had to have been.
Yeah, the dogs were there. Matter of fact, when the police were there, the dogs looked like they were sedated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a chance to review some of the footage of the sheriff and everything being up on the property. The dogs look
What
like
footage?
because it was only, even with the heat index, it was in the low 80s. Those dogs look lethargic as far as like they had been given.
But you're saying like there was video of being up on the hill that day, like body cam or something?
Yeah.
Where?
Well, I sent you some of the screenshots from the video. I'm still trying to locate the video. I don't know as far as if you can actually post the video.
Well, I mean, all the videos we've seen are like from her TikTok, her Facebook, and stuff. But I don't think anybody has been released. All we have is like the 911 dispatch, and you don't even hear Dawn or Candace on it. Hang on one second. I'm going to address this from 2 Boston moms. She said yes, and giving H alcohol and drugs, I could see them not calling if it was an accident. See, kind of going back to what Crime Time's been saying for almost a year. They're not. They don't think like us, but there's no excuse for it. So hang on, I'm going to bring up Shannon because she's had some questions that she was talking about. Hang on. Hi, Shannon, you're muted. Oh, Shannon. She doesn't know she's muted. She doesn't know she's muted. She's got to unmute herself.
Hear now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I did, I promise. Hello? Okay. I'm just going to let you know real quick, it's rainy here and cloudy. So if I start breaking up, I'll hop off and go back into chat. Where were we at? Because now
it's your turn because you said you had a lot of things you were going to bring up.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to mention off of some of the things that Great Sasha and Great Lone Wolf said, yeah, the dogs were there that day. They're always there. Anytime a camera's been there, you hear them honking. I mean, not honking, barking. Even when Chris went up that day, they were barking. The dogs were there. Okay. But from jump, my question is, from dispatch to law enforcement, then to Dawn Wells and Candace, the conflicting information was small, but very important details. Okay, that's a big question for me right there, right from the very beginning with, the dispatch call. Oh, she was running. She's 4 years old. What else was said? The abduction theory right away.
Which, by the way, the FBI card unit has already said there's no signs of an abduction, and they kept saying. I mean, Dawn has been in jail, since February.
Right.
Candace doesn't even want to talk about Summer anymore, and but the last time that she did, I mean, we're back with abduction.
Abduction, to me, right, is out the window, and you've got, my main point is there's 3 people in this story. That's why, and I don't know if it has to do with cell reception at that very time frame in between, let's say 3:30 and the 6 something with the 911 call, but in that time frame right there is what we're missing, that the police, I believe, may not have a signal on cell phones or whatever it be, and maybe that's why they've had a problem trying to find out in those few hours, where did Candace go with her, or whomever, did she meet up with Dawn? Quickly he runs back to where he was, calls 911. I'm rushing home. He gave too many details about where he was at, then later on, of course, his 7 alibis, but he wanted to make sure from the very beginning that he was alibied. He was not there.
Oh yeah,
so,
and that was another thing that was a big red flag to me. He's sitting there fighting with Candace, and he was like, I've got 7 alibis. You're going down. She doesn't argue with him. She goes, I know. Yes. She said, I know. And they're a married couple who fight like cats and dogs. I mean, you think she would have been like, you're going down with me.
Right.
Oh,
something.
No. Candace knows. Candace knows every.
Yes.
Candace knows about that day.
Absolutely. Candace unless
she came home and passed out or something, she can at least attribute for everything else in that day. Because we're still looking at from when they dropped off Grandis to when they picked up Hunter. What were they doing?
Right.
When they dropped off Hunter at 2:30, according to Allie, it was about 2:30 when they dropped him off. She calls 911 at 6:30. Okay, it didn't take you 4 hours to plant flowers, which I still don't even think happened. Grandis takes the nap. So what happened in those 4 hours? She was posting on Facebook around 6 o'clock that night. Calls 911 at 6:30. She got on Facebook to look normal. Something happened before 6 o'clock.
That was one of my questions that I had written down, was the deleted photo. And I believe it was 6:09. I could be corrected. Of the little, or one of the boys in the Fox ride dirt bike gear, and it looks like an older photo, maybe because Summer was to the side. We don't know, but right. Yeah, she was posting like nothing's happened. So
she's active on Facebook. She had a couple of posts going on around 6 o'clock. That's why I said it's kind of like Letitia Staunch. Her phone was dead. I think she had the thing turned off after she got everything situated with Gannon. That's a really crude way for me to put it. She turns her phone back on, and she's texting her friends, and she's back on Facebook. She's making things look like nothing was going on. Same with Candace. She's on Facebook, and then she waits a little bit, calls Dawn. She says Summer's missing. He tells her to call 911. But then Grandis says she called 911, then called Dawn. Hence why we're
Right.
still here.
Exactly. They can't keep the story straight. It's it's what they say and it's what they don't say. You've got to listen to what they don't say.
Exactly.
And again, we know they're not your average everyday people. But you know, when your child goes missing, most everybody would still act the same or do something similar, show some kind of emotion. She hasn't shown not 1 ounce of emotion for that baby girl. Can
Unless
hardly
it's
say
for
her
her.
name.
Unless it's for
Right.
her.
That's true. About
Yep.
her. Yep. I'm being interrogated.
I
You
just have,
know?
and like I said, we all have our different ideas and theories and everything. I just, with Candace's history and her temper, I've just always thought that this is something that Candace is responsible, but I think someone helped her cover it up. I can't figure out who.
But you're
Grandis,
Yeah.
Common denominator.
Dawn, I don't know. But I mean, Candace isn't getting out of this.
you do
No.
remember Don saying something a comment about Candace's friends, the people she hangs out with.
He told Brian Itten, he said, I think she made the wrong friends.
So that
Like
so
he
that
was
makes
giving
me
little
wonder, too.
clues or something. I don't know.
And then the way he says he knew something was going to happen to Summer.
Right. Who says
Same
that
way
about
with
their kid?
Joe,
He said the most
Yeah, but-
cryptic, weird things.
but he said the same thing about Josie. That's why he took Josie to Utah.
I don't know, but I still agree with you, Brooks. I believe that this is going to be the craziest things and sad, like most sinister, sad thing that we've ever seen, that we'd ever even imagine can happen.
If they come out after 11 months, a year, or whatever, and say they believe she just wandered off, I mean, I would rather hear that than she had a death like her life, if you know what I mean, because she was definitely
Right.
an abused, neglected little girl.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
I agree with you on that, Brooks, too, and also makes me wonder too, with Allie and her mother and her grandmother all coming out at one point, saying how bad parenting the Wells did, and I'm thinking at the time too, why would you allow your 2 kids to live there then, if you thought that much of their parenting?
Sasha, that's my thing is, you know, here we are, you know, it seems like every month somebody comes out and they witnessed abusive or inappropriate things with these children, you know, and DC, whatever they call it, child protective people, were called numerous times, so people don't need to think that we didn't call. Well, if they were not catching Candace at home, call 911, call the police.
Exactly.
You know, go up and make a police report. You want to talk a lot now. What about them children when you actually witnessed it? That's what makes me upset.
I'll never get over that, because you're right. In this case, we've had a cast of characters that have been sprinkled in since, you know, the beginning, a little here, a little there, and every one of them tell the same damn story, and not a damn one of them did anything.
None of
Nope.
them.
Well, the only time anything was done that is factual is Allie calling the police to get her kids back. Now, how come Jose hasn't said anything about that incident? Because he was at the house when that happened.
Well, we know he didn't call the police. I think he needed somewhere to stay, and this is just what I think. Like, so we can all agree to disagree. I think he was in a really weird situation between those 3 women, Dawn coming back, the condition of the kids and everything. It was like each had to get the hell out of there.
let me
Yeah, I
ask you
agree.
something for the Tennessee residents. I know up here in New York, when there's violence in the home between the parents, DYFS is automatically called out. Like
It's
the
the same way. It's the same way in Tennessee because uh, when the domestic issue in uh, October the 14th, CPS was involved.
so did they not have to go to like any classes, any like continuously court stuff in
Now, are
regards
you
to?
talking about after they took the kids in July?
I
Well,
think he's
No, I'm
talking about
talking
before, right?
Oc- October the 14th when Don was back from Utah.
Mhm.
And
Well,
uh, it,
that's when they have the blowout with Jose.
mhm.
I would think that CPS would have had to have been involved, but they could have found it. They could have made it unfounded. I don't know.
Obviously, nothing was done because the kids were still there,
Yeah.
whether they came out or not. So that's not, like I said, that's not, these people want to talk and talk now about what they witnessed. And, I cussed her out or I didn't hang out with her after that and this and that. Well, you know what? Go make a police report and say, look, there's this house. Please check it out. This and this and this. I witnessed this for myself. Do something. But they all
Exactly.
want to sing now. That's what irks me.
Well, and in this case, none of them have the right to talk about the other if you really want to know the truth.
Right. I agree.
I agree with you too. Didn't Allie's mother or one of them have something on them in regards to child
Yeah,
abuse?
Sherry,
Sherry did.
Yeah.
yeah, she even in her mugshot, she even had some T-shirt on that was like "World's Best Grandma" or "New Grandma" or something having to do with a grandma. Yeah,
Wow.
But that makes a good point, Brooks, because and I don't even care if I offend these people. There's people that are into drugs in this case that were around. There were not such good people. They may have been good people, just didn't do the right thing. But now you got some are missing, and I would feel guilty about that if I was any one of those people that actually truly witnessed something and didn't do anything about it.
exactly. And I want to address this comment real quick. You're exactly right. Fugitive recovery agent. Love that name. Why does everyone say Candace needs to get permission to search their property? Ellie can get a search warrant. Yeah, they don't need an invitation from Candace. Trust me, if somebody thought that I was concealing evidence or something nefarious happened at my house, they wouldn't be waiting on me to pencil them into my calendar. They'd show up, knock, knock, I have a warrant, and we're going to go through it. If you look at TBI's frequently asked questions in their newsroom regarding Summer Wells, they say they have searched the property many times. They even give specifics of what they've searched. A couple of other channels have put that out there just to get shit stirring.
Right.
We all
That
took
that
a break.
property's been
We
searched.
know how that goes.
Yeah.
And
And
if
you
And
you
it's
know,
like the
notice,
Ballows case, they would have found something.
and
and
another
if you
thing,
know,
I
I was
wonder
going to
about.
say,
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
go ahead.
Another thing
Go
I
ahead.
wonder about if Andrew and the ones that came from here actually made more than one trip there before. And the reason why I'm wondering about that is because Jose had mentioned at one point a van and a U-Haul truck. And it was kind of confusing to me about, is he talking about the same time frame or is he talking about two different times? And I always
No,
wondered too, could they have brought Summer back towards this way?
Mhm.
There's a lot of woods upstate. you got the Adirondacks, you got Catskills. There's a lot of stuff up here, even
See,
on the way
there's
coming.
somebody else that has involved themselves in a crime, and why? Why?
Well,
You know,
right.
and I mean, they actually went to Congress to get extra funding, the TBI director, to continue searching for her for that one area. They really believe, the lead detective said they believe she's nearby. But I'm telling you, nothing in this would surprise me. I mean, nothing at this point. Aliens would not surprise me.
Right. Right. I agree. Unfortunately, I agree. We're at
Well,
that
guys,
point.
you have been an awesome panel, and I just loved the chat today. I mean, chat was blowing it up. I mean, so many things I hadn't even thought of. So before I run out of signal here, because I can tell it's weakening considering the area we're going into, I have to shut this down. So I'm going to tell you guys good day for now until the next show later this afternoon. We're going to do another show about summer tomorrow morning. So I will get that posted. So, hey, Sasha, your points were awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brooks. I enjoy your show every day.
No problem. I'll text you after this, okay?
All right, take care.
Lone Wolf, thank you, my brother. You were awesome.
I try to be as good as possible.
I'll always love the conversation, love the insight. I'll catch you in Discord, okay?
Okay.
Bye, hun. All right, Shan, it's just you and me. I'm sending you off into your Tuesday until the next show. It'll be at 3 p.m. Central Time. Nikki Rule was abducted in League City, Texas. His grandmother is coming on the show this afternoon.
Yes,
So
I'm
you
so
guys
excited.
better
I'm so
remind her.
proud.
Yep.
I-
Tally
I
be
will.
on the show. All right, I'll see
I
you a little
sure
bit.
will.
Shannon.
Thank you, love. Bye. Thank you, chat.
Bye, love. All right, guys. Sorry for the messiness since we're traveling and stuff, but it's working out, right? We can make things work anywhere. All right. Thanks for being the best chat on YouTube. Thanks for being the best community. Like, you know, many people said here today, it's like the family's back together. It's like the family's back together. We just talk and agree to disagree, and, you know, we know we're not. We know we don't have a badge. We're not collecting, you know, DNA and picking up hair samples. So anyway, I'll see you guys back here this afternoon. And then I'm going to put the show up later for summer tomorrow morning. Don't forget, we are also discussing the Lily Peters case. She was found murdered yesterday. I'm also putting together a show for Michael Vaughn. So we got a lot of stuff going on. Next week's going to be a lot of catch up. You guys are the best. I'll see you later this afternoon. Bye-bye.